It's Wednesday, April 15. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Carol Francis. As of Wednesday morning, over 105 Jamaicans are confirmed as having the coronavirus COVID-19. There are also 5 fatalities. PBCJ's Gabriel Thompson has the details in this report.
As at April 14, Jamaica has 105 cases of the COVID-19 coronavirus. This follows 32 additions in a 24-hour period. Speaking Tuesday evening at a press briefing at Jamaica House, Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton gave an update.
New cases comprise of 5 males and 27 females who range in ages from 19 to 70 years old. The cases are from St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Andrew. They bring to 34 the number of cases under investigation. Of the remaining 71 confirmed cases, 31 are imported, 34 are contacts of a confirmed case, and 6 are local transmission. The vast majority of the 32 additions, indeed 31 of the 32, are linked to a call center located in the Portmore area, Allarakha intervention.
The health minister says just over 30 of the new cases have been linked to a business processing outsourcing center in Portmore, St. Catherine, with over 700 employees.
This facility has a staff complement based on the staff registry of some 787 workers. We have so far in our intervention 258 individuals have been interviewed and sampled. 65 of those tests have come back, and of that number, 33 samples have come back positive. 2 were announced a few days ago, so 31 since today.
He says a senior team from the health ministry visited the entity on the weekend. The health minister says it has since been closed. Dr. Tufton says arrangements are being made for the isolation of the newly confirmed cases and conducting contact tracing.
The ministry is also working diligently to identify each of their contacts for testing, while investigations continue to identify other positive exposed persons.
21 persons have recovered from COVID-19, 20 persons are in quarantine, and 65 persons are in isolation.
We have now tested 1,290 samples, and of that, of course, we have had 105 confirmed positives, 1,185 negatives. Over the last day, we announced the mobilization of our mobile testing unit as part of the expanded testing efforts. And we have started in Clarendon in the Corn Peace area, and this will continue over the days to come. We have 5 such units, and those units are going to be deployed in the respective regional authorities to expand the collection of samples for testing.
For the news on PBCJ, I'm Gabriel Thompson.
The government says it will consider an extension to the 7-day St. Catherine lockdown announced on Tuesday evening by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Our reporter Marlon Samuels visited Portmore in St. Catherine and filed this report.
Concern over the possible spread of the coronavirus COVID-19 resulted in Prime Minister Andrew Holness announcing a total lockdown of the parish of St. Catherine. The lockdown became necessary after the majority of the 32 newly reported COVID-19 cases were linked to a case at Allarakha, Jamaica, a call center located in Portmore, with a staff registry of 787 workers.
There will be a lockdown for the parish of St. Catherine, starting at 5 a.m. Wednesday morning, April 15th, 2020, through to 5 a.m. Wednesday, April the 22nd, 2020. The objective of the lockdown is to slow as much as possible the spread of the virus. The minister gave you some numbers as to the number of persons tested, and with 33 persons confirmed, you can use your own imagination to figure out how many persons have been contacted, the areas that people would have traveled to, and the potential spread that can come from that. So technically, you could be looking at as many as 1,000 persons contacted in close proximity. The effect of that is very great.
Evidence of the lockdown cannot be seen here at this intersection. The usual bumper-to-bumper traffic is still evident. This is a far cry from what was seen on the roads leading from Portmore to Kingston, shortly after Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced the total lockdown of the parish of St. Catherine on Tuesday, April 14.
The people have moved out of Portmore. No, sir. Watch ya. Look on the traffic. Everybody has left Portmore. Look on the line of traffic. Jano. Watch ya. Look on the traffic. Everybody has moved out. Watch ya. Look on the hours and look on the traffic.
In a bid to enforce the stay-at-home order in Portmore, the police are advising that there is no access to the Causeway Toll Plaza from Port Henderson Road. Members of the public are advised to use Dawkins Drive, Portmore Mall entrance. For the news on PBCJ, I am Marlon Samuels.
An investigation has been initiated to unravel the circumstances under which the spike in COVID-19 cases in St. Catherine took place. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has instructed the Commission of Police and Health authorities to thoroughly investigate the issue and to pursue charges under the Disaster Risk Management Act. Simone Absalom tells us more.
32 new cases of COVID-19 were confirmed by Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tofton at a press briefing at Jamaica House. The majority of the new cases were associated with a business process outsourcing entity in St. Catherine. This led to what Prime Minister Andrew Holness described as a drastic action, a 7-day lockdown in the parish starting April 15 until April 22.
We have had to take this drastic action. Today I had a virtual meeting with the BPO Association. Now let me say from the outset that not all operators of BPOs are members of the association. They all fall under regulatory authority, the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority. But the group that I was able to meet with at short notice, having just gotten this information, was the BPO Association.
Mr. Holness noted that the BPO sector employs close to 40,000 people, and so far they have moved more than 10,000 individuals into work from home arrangements.
Generally, by and large, from the reports that we have received, most of their members have been following the recommended protocols. They have established protocols that are higher than the recommended protocols. In fact, I was pleased to learn that they have moved 26% of their employment to work from home arrangements. The BPO sector employs close to 40,000 persons, and they have moved over 10,000 persons into work from home arrangements. They are looking at other mechanisms. But it is clear that there are some operators who were not following protocols, who were not faithful in observing protocols. What we will have to do as a government, because this is now a matter of national importance, it is a matter of ensuring compliance. I have asked the Commissioner of Police to thoroughly investigate, along with the Health Department, the circumstances under which this outbreak took place and to pursue charges under the Disaster Risk Management Act.
The Prime Minister says even with reported efforts of compliance to established protocols, consequences must fall where they can be held accountable. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Simone Absalom.
Review and update your current COVID-19 related health and safety measures. Those words of caution from State Minister and the Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Orlando Terrelonge. It comes after the decision by call center Allarakha to temporarily close its Kingston branch as part of mitigation activities after its Portmore location was shut for sanitization and contact tracing activities after employees tested positive for COVID-19. According to Minister Terrelonge, quote, "It is better to close for 2 to 3 weeks and review policies as well as implement necessary safety guidelines," end quote. And Prime Minister Holness says the government intended to accept the 43 Jamaicans aboard Marella Discovery 2 when the vessel arrived in Jamaican waters for refueling on April 2.
The request was made when the ship was offshore, 12 miles offshore Jamaica. I believe they were refueling at the time, and they made a request through the appropriate channels. And I must say, from my review of what has happened, that the Ministry of Health and Port Health acted according to the orders that were approved by the government of Jamaica. They informed the ship's captain that our borders were closed and that any decision to accept the Jamaicans on board would have to go through a process. The order defined that process. It would have had to come to the Minister of National Security, and then it would have had to be discussed and ratified at Cabinet.
He made the statement during a press conference at Jamaica House.
It came to our attention. We were having a meeting of a subcommittee of Cabinet, and immediately as it was brought to my attention, on Friday, we were having a meeting on Friday, the following day. Immediately as it was brought to my attention, having reached the attention of the Minister of National Security, we said, yes, we would have to take them because it is the logical thing to do. They were close by. But by the time the Minister of National Security could have conveyed the approval, the ship had already left our waters on their way. So I know a lot of people want to make much of it. But the truth is that once the protocols are in place, we expect that the persons who are obliged to follow the protocols, they must follow the protocols. And it is just quite an unfortunate situation that the ship left before the conveyance of the approval.
Over $50 million Jamaican dollars was raised through the Telethon Jamaica Together We Stand, held on the weekend to provide Jamaica's frontline workers with the necessary equipment to battle COVID-19. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Babs-de-Grain, says she is grateful for the outpouring of support from Jamaicans at home and abroad, as well as friends of Jamaica who responded to the telethon. A 0.56% contraction is projected for the Jamaican economy this year as the country reels from the coronavirus pandemic. The projection is contained in the 2020 World Economic Outlook published by the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. Speaking in the budget debate last month, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke gave the first indication it was likely the coronavirus would affect the government's economic growth projections. Dr. Clarke said if the impact was severe, the government was projecting a lower growth scenario of 0.7% for 2020-2021 and 1.3% for 2021-2022. The IMF is reportedly expecting a far worse situation for Jamaica. It's, however, predicting a 3.5% recovery next year. A World Bank executive wants countries to keep borders closed to passenger traffic for a while longer. This while ensuring international trade continues to prevent a collapse of the global economy amidst the coronavirus pandemic. In a virtual press conference with journalists from several regional countries, the World Bank's chief economist for Latin America and the Caribbean, Martin Rammer, said the World Bank and other multilaterals are of the view it will help Latin American Caribbean countries bounce back from the global crisis. The Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries has cut export-related fees and charges by 50%. The move is part of government stimulus package implemented by the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, and the Trade Board Limited. The 50% cut in export-related charges became effective on April 1. The cut will reportedly result in the ministry giving up over $100 million in revenue. State Minister at the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Agriculture and Fisheries, Floyd Green, says the cut is intended to stimulate agriculture, growth and investment. For more on the financial scene, we join Gabrielle Thompson.
In Wednesday's trading session, the JSE Combined Index advanced by 5,378 points to close at over 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 90 stocks, of which 54 advanced, 21 declined, and 15 traded firm. The Junior Market Index advanced by 35 points to close at under 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica, 138 Student Living Variable Preference, and 1834 Investments Limited. Stocks declined for AMG Packaging and Paper, Burrito Investments, and Blue Power Group Limited. Trading firm were Carreras Limited, Elite Diagnostic Limited, and Epley Limited 8.75%. Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited was the volume leader with over 11 million units, followed by Pulse Investments Limited with over 2 million units, and Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with 1.8 million units. Now for the foreign exchange. The US dollar on Tuesday, April 14, ended trading at $138.50. The Canadian dollar sold for an average $99.45. The pound sterling traded for $174.66, and the euro ended trading at $153.31. Oil fell 1% towards $28 a barrel on Wednesday, pressured by reports of persistent oversupply and collapsing demand due to global coronavirus-related lockdowns and a lack of coordinated oil purchases for strategic storage. Brent crude futures fell $1.18 to $28.42 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude slid 43 cents to $19.68. That's it for the business report on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson.
Jamaica's first death resulting from the coronavirus-related symptoms was a 79-year-old man. Since then, a number of persons over the age of 60 have tested positive for the virus. This week on Living Healthy, we focus on the senior members of the Jamaican Society.
105 people have now tested positive for the novel coronavirus. St. Catherine is on lockdown for the next 7 days. People who are pregnant, disabled, or are 65 years and older will only be allowed to go out for the essentials of life from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Wednesdays and Saturdays in St. Catherine. Across the island, persons over the age of retirement are being encouraged to stay home. These are serious times. Some of our seniors may be confused about what to do and what not to do. Communications consultant, seniors advocate, founder, and CEO of Caribbean Community of Retired Persons, CCRP, Mrs. Jean Lorichin, gives us some tips.
Seniors, please stick with this regulation. It is for your good health. So remember, stay at home. And if you must go out, you need to practice social distancing. That means you must stay 6 feet away from the next person. No handshakes, no hugs. You need to wash your hands often and thoroughly or use sanitizer. And remember, don't touch your face. The virus will enter your body through your eyes, nose, or mouth. So that's very important. Also remember that your glasses and your phone are always touching your face. So you should also sanitize those regularly. Also, the surfaces that you are touching and the items you touch in your household. So the kitchen counter, bathroom area, light switches, door handles, please ensure those are properly sanitized. And well-diluted bleach is an affordable and a great cleanser. Now remember, you're always reminded, cover your mouth with a tissue, your mouth and your nose, when you cough or sneeze, and discard the tissue. I know some of you like to use your wash rags or a towel. No, this is the time to use a tissue so you can get rid of whatever it is that you coughed or sneezed out. Stay in if you develop flu-like symptoms and immediately call your doctor or call the Ministry of Health hotline. That's 888-1-LOVE. Don't forget that. And remember, and this is a tip we got from Johns Hopkins, when you're doing your laundry, don't shake out your clothing or your linen, because if the virus is there, it could disperse in the air and then connect with you. Just put it in the tub or the washing machine to wash it. Now, there are people who come and go, people who live with elderly relatives, and we have some special advice for those folks. Leave your shoes at the door. You don't want to be tracking in anything from outside. Sanitize your hands, your bags, and even your shopping, because remember, many hands may have touched what you paid for. Change your clothes, launder or separate them from other clothing. Don't leave those clothes on the bed or on a chair, because then again, the virus could connect with those other surfaces. Take a shower or sanitize as best as you can. Do not allow visitors who have traveled recently and who did not obey the quarantine rules to come into your house, because you want to protect your elderly relative. And please, no apology, ensure that as soon as a visitor arrives to your house that they sanitize their hands and that they leave their shoes at the door. Now remember, some of our elderly can become a bit anxious in these times, and it's very important that you try to keep their spirits up and reassure them. So please, call them regularly and keep your conversation light. Offer to pick up their prescription and their groceries so they don't expose themselves too much. Watch light-hearted programs with them so that you can laugh together. Don't get stuck on the news channels, because when they see this news repeating itself, it could really make them very, very anxious, and you don't want that to happen. Some of your elderly folks love board games. Remember, before computers, they had their Monopoly, their Scrabble, their chess, their cards. I would encourage you to play board games with them. It always ends up in laughter and a lot of fun. But also, it's a good time for them to get more acquainted with the digital world, because remember, you don't want them standing up too long in banking halls. So you could maybe, this is a good time to show them how to do online banking, how to pay their bills online. And also, remember, they like their little prayer groups. They have their various church groups. You could teach them how to use Zoom so they could still connect with their friends from church and pray together. Now, we want our members, and we want seniors in general, to know that if they have any questions, if they have any special anxieties, that they can call CCRP or email us. So please call us at 469-1944 or email us at ccrponline.org. We have a very active Facebook page, CCRP Jamaica, so please share your ideas on that page, and we want you to keep well and healthy. Our CCRP motto is life to the fullest, and this is what we wish for our elderly at this time. So please, Jamaica, protect them, look after them so that they can live a a great and healthy life. Thank you.
In regional news, Guyana's President David Granger says the country is more prepared to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. InfoHub's Alexis Rodney has that story.
The head of state noted that while the country has embarked on a path of public health, there remain challenges ahead before the disease is defeated. Latest reports indicate that 47 Guyanese have tested positive for COVID-19, of which 6 have died. From that amount, 8 have also recovered. President Granger said he is pleased with the recoveries and expressed hope that the other cases will also recover soon. In the meantime, he noted that the government is becoming better equipped to provide proper personal protective equipment for the medical staff carrying out testing and treatment, along with materials and equipment such as beds, respirators, and ventilators for those who become critically afflicted. He said the capacity for infrastructural and institutional accommodation is also being expanded. Quote, "The effort to fight this disease requires unprecedented expenditure and outlay of resources to enable identification and testing, isolation, protection, and treatment." Unquote. The head of state also lauded the selfless services of all public health practitioners who are on the front line, protecting those stricken by the disease. Quote, "They have been working tirelessly through this very difficult situation to provide quality health care to those who have been infected and afflicted. Everyone in the public health system has played a vital part in the fight against this disease." Unquote. For InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
Venezuela has given medical supplies to Dominica. Minister of Finance, Investment, Housing and Lands, Reginald Ostrie, gave some details of these supplies at a press brief.
And so to have Venezuela with millions and millions of inhabitants, not knowing when this disease is going to be defeated, and to find it fit and necessary to share with the less fortunate brothers and sisters, not only in Dominica, but all across the globe, is in fact remarkable. And really, Ambassador, it's living up to the spirit of our fallen hero, Brother Chavez and Maduro, to assist less fortunate countries all across the globe. I think this is very, very significant.
As rude as it is, it's giving the world a lesson in more than one way. It's like it's asking us where our priorities are. I ask to God that this humble gesture of solidarity between the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and the Commonwealth of Dominica serve as an example to send a message of unity and fraternity, because we are in this together. It's not happening just in one country, it's happening in the world. It's happening in our Caribbean region.
In sports, drug testing of the nation's elite sportsmen and women have now been suspended indefinitely. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the local anti-doping body JADCO initially suspended drug testing for 1 week from March 18 to 24. JADCO then extended the suspension to April 8. JADCO's chairman, Alexander Williams, says the decision was based on the national guidelines in the fight against the virus. The independent track and field body, the Athletics Association of Jamaica, which bills itself as a unified voice of professional athletes, said on its Twitter feed that of the 685 athletes polled globally, 78% were concerned about the validity of results due to reduced testing. But the JADCO chairman said they were unaware of Jamaican athletes expressing concern about the suspension of drug testing. And that's our package. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place, for more news and sports right here on PBCJ, the People's Station.